So what controversial thing happened? Well, unfortunately, some pets have gotten sick. Some had to be put down because some arsehole in guys, I've got no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be a millionaire. I've got no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be a multi-millionaire, hopefully anyway. So maybe a bit more doubt on that one, but definitely going to be a millionaire through hard work and, doing my business. Hello and welcome to another driving vlog. My name's Simon. I'm a six-figure, really close to seven-figure Amazon seller, and I do these kind of weekly driving vlogs where I talk about my Amazon business in general, and what's kind of gone on, I suppose, in the Amazon world, and answering any questions as well. So thanks for joining me. For those of you who have not watched before, as I say, my name's Simon. For any existing viewers, I do thank you for checking out this vlog again. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully I can entertain you for the next sort of, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, hour, who knows how long it goes on for. Depends how much I've got to talk about, really. Got with it a different angle this time. My windshield got dinged by a bloody rock a few weeks back, so I had to get a new windscreen and can't quite get the same positioning as last time. Anyway, this will have to do. Couldn't get the damn thing to stick to the windscreen. Hopefully it doesn't fall off while we're driving. So yeah, the rock hit the windscreen and then a crack just kept forming. So anyway, I had to get it replaced. It kind of sucked. What are you going to do? Cool. So what's been going on in the world of Amazon this week? Well, there's this big controversial news that some of you may or may not be aware of with the brand YouMove. So YouMove is a sort of dog or pet supplement brand, and a lot of us Amazon sellers have been selling this brand for a couple of years now, actually, maybe more. Mostly we can get these kind of on deal as an Amazon to Amazon, so we buy it from Amazon and we sell it back on Amazon when they've got like a disc, when they've got a discount, we'll buy it. So obviously we've got this like Amazon to Amazon deal. We know we're going to get from Amazon. We know it's all legit and stuff. However, for the past sort of like 3 to 6 months, I think this is about the correct timeline, there has been some Chinese sellers on the listing selling fake goods. And us Amazon sellers have known about this for a long time, known that these are basically fake, known that that this is all like Chinese sellers because they're undercutting everyone, selling it for way cheaper than everyone else, and obviously selling ridiculous volumes of supplements, pet supplement, and it killed the kind of YouMove market a little bit. But anyway, it was obvious to everyone that these were Chinese sellers, except Amazon apparently. Apparently they didn't know, even though I've seen pictures of people putting a legit product next to a real one, and they're literally night and day. They're not even close to being like a good fake. And how it got through Amazon anyway. So what controversial thing happened? Well, unfortunately, some pets have gotten sick. Some had to be put down because some arsehole in China decided to make some fake stuff that hurts pets. Unfortunately, some pets have died, some pets have been hurt. So Amazon did I guess what you call an internal recall. So the product wasn't recalled itself, it was just Amazon recalled it. And what that meant basically is they bundled all third-party sellers into one sort of group, one pool. So I've sold YouMove on Amazon, other people have sold YouMove on Amazon, and basically what they've done is they've refunded all the customers all the money. So if I sold an item for £20, well, I'm now £20 in the hole basically for that item, because they just refunded the customer. They also sent an email saying that this could be fake people, and obviously that's not made the customers not very happy. So the customer obviously gets to keep the item, ideally just destroy it. I'm out of the pocket £20 per unit, whatever it costs. Some of them are quite expensive, these things. They're 15, 20. Some of these tub things are 40 quid, and yeah, it basically, Amazon have bundled, they've done that kind of snap reaction, they've bundled all third-party sellers together and just initiated refunds for the past, I think, 3 months or so. So if anyone had sold a YouMove product in the past 3 months, or a specific YouMove product, basically Amazon has refunded all the customers and you're now out of pocket. Now, I didn't have many of these. I had 10 or 15 in stock. I think I'd sold 4 or 5. I'm going to be in the hole maybe £300 maybe, so I'm not happy about it, but not too bad. Some people are in the hole. A good friend of mine, Lewis, he's trying to grow his business. He's not a big Amazon seller, but he's growing every month. Last month actually was his best month ever, but he got hit with £1,500 worth of refund, so that basically ruined his month. I think his best month was like £2,500–3,000. So that £1,500 coming off there has basically ruined that month for him. There's some people that are basically in the hole 100, 150k. I mean, some people 10,000, some 15, 20. All sorts of different numbers here, but some of the bigger sellers in the whole 150k. So obviously people are not very happy here, because essentially what we've done is we've been punished by Amazon because of and it is 100 and 10% Amazon's fault. I don't even blame the counterfeiters, because counterfeiters exist. It's up to Amazon to stop them being on the platform, especially when it's so obvious. And they allowed it on the platform. They allowed these sales. And then when obviously, shit hits the fan, we've just gone from PG to 15, us Amazon sellers get punished, even though we're legit. So no one's very happy with the way that Amazon dealt with this. They should have, rather than just issuing a snap refund for everyone, they should have reached out and asked people to provide authenticity beforehand, because I could have said, hey, here's some Amazon invoices, so we're all good basically, and most people could have done that as well. So this is just like, leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And the other thing as well is, it kind of makes you wonder, like, it's basically made a lot of people question selling on Amazon, really, because, and this is, if you watch all my other vlogs and videos, I've mentioned this before in the past, one of the reasons I didn't want to sell on Amazon is because essentially Amazon can do what they want. Basically, they are law, they are the ruler, they are the person in charge. And if they decide to refund, then there's literally nothing you can do. So even items you sold 3 months ago, and you're like, yeah, I made loads of profit, you can't really bank on it really, because Amazon in theory could just refund it. So it's left a sour taste in many people's mouths, this has, and it's not the best thing really. As like I say, I've lost about £300, not too bad really. I'm not, I count myself pretty lucky actually. Compared to some people. I've sold a lot of U-Move in the past, but very recently I haven't, so I've been let off a little bit. But yeah, I feel bad for those that have gotten screwed by this. Like I said, I know one guy lost 150k. So obviously everyone's hoping that Amazon's going to make it right. Yeah, I doubt it. But we'll see, basically, they might do. Now, this actually brings up another thing as well. About 3-4 months ago, I had some Holland and Barrett supplements. I can't remember what they were. They were probiotics, and they went through a product recall as well. And all my orders, even from over a year ago, I think they were, got refunded again by Amazon. So one thing I'm going to be doing maybe is just avoiding anything that's edible now, basically, by humans or animals. Yeah, it's just not really, I don't know, this recall was kind of like suck really. And especially with the probiotic one, it was only a certain batch that got recalled, but Amazon just did like a blanket refund on everyone, even though it was just a batch. Obviously they don't know what batch I'd sold, but still, it's a bit annoying really. That one was a little bit more acceptable maybe because it was a product recall, like an official recall. The U-Move one wasn't a proper recall because obviously everything, if you bought it from U-Move or any kind of like big company, then, or Amazon directly, then you were guaranteed that it was real. So I don't know, anyway, yeah, it's left people with a bad taste in their mouth, and a few people I know actually are considering of getting out of Amazon or switching their business model on Amazon just because of the way that Amazon treats their sellers. It's the whole eBay thing again. Any eBay sellers out there know, like, they literally treat you like a piece of shit on their shoe, basically. That's how eBay treat their sellers. And it's kind of the same thing when it comes to, Amazon sellers. They kind of treat them really poorly. So yeah, it sucks, but it's part of the game of being on Amazon. Diversification is probably a good thing. But yeah, that was a controversial topic anyway. So sorry to start off on such a negative thing, but I thought I'd just give you the update on that kind of story. So yeah, it's not too bad for me, but I do feel for everyone who's been affected. Now, it could affect me in one way actually, before we move on to the next topic. A lot of people are actually worried, me included actually, that Section 3s could get hammered out to everyone who sold those U-Move products. So that would mean thousands and thousands of sellers all get hit with Section 3s at the same time, just before Christmas. And, I've heard stories that Section 3s can take anywhere from 1 week to 3 months to get resolved. So worst case scenario, for me, even though I've only sold like 5 of these U-Move products, is that we could get Section 3'd and my account could be suspended. And obviously I submit all my invoices, I've got them ready to go. But it takes 3 months to get resolved because they've got such a, also it's a very busy time for Amazon. They've got a lot of, Section 3s going out at the same time. And yeah, it basically can take 3 months, which means I'd miss Christmas, which would actually proper fuck me. Because I've bought a lot of stuff because of the volumes of Christmas. And if they don't, oh God, I hate this. I'm driving around here in the country lanes. People fly tipping, it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Just go to the tip, guys. Not saying you guys are doing it, but like, God, I hate it. Nice countryside here, we've got fly tippers. So, you know, if I get hit with Section 3, I'd be proper fucked, basically. The one thing anyway, so let's talk about my Amazon business. How is November going? November started off a little bit slow, but it's now picked up a little bit. Now, it basically was my fault. My prices were just set too high. I basically was setting my prices to those kind of like peak December prices, waiting out, holding out, but which is fine if you've only got like a few units of an item. Wait till December, you know, 15th or so when the price peaks, or December 20th, something kind of around then. You know, with the volumes I've got, I really shouldn't just be waiting for the peak prices. It's because I've moved into the sort of wholesale model now. I've been buying stuff in much bigger quantities. It requires a different mindset switch. We can't be trying to maximize profit on every unit. It's just not possible. My goal now should be sell through and just being happy with whatever profit I can make on those units, obviously within reason. Not trying to maximize the profit on every single unit, because when I've got 300 units of a perfume, it might be fine if I was the only seller on the listing, but I'm not. So, you know, I need to be selling through these units. So sort of Friday, Saturday, I went through all my repricing. I lowered prices on stuff to be more realistic. I actually had a bunch of warehouse used stuff as well, actually, that I needed to go through. Prices on those weren't quite right. So did that as well. And now my sales have started picking up. I made £500 2 days ago. I made £500 yesterday, I think it was, or 450, 500, I can't remember exactly. So, you know, it's picked up basically, which is good to see. So, because I've got a lot of money in Amazon. I've got around 140,000 in stock in Amazon-ish. It's probably gone down a little bit now. I've got another probably 30 to 40,000 on the way. I've definitely made a few dubious purchases recently where it needs to get into Amazon ASAP for me to actually sell through these items. Yeah, I need to start selling. So a little bit of a mindset switch for me here, moving from sort of OA to wholesale, which is what I'm looking to do next year. But however, this Section 3 thing has made me also think twice about how much money I've got in Amazon at any one time. It's made me think, you know, I'm not going to stop doing Amazon, but it's made me think, am I comfortable with 140 grand's worth of stuff in Amazon? Basically, you know, I'm not going to lie, guys, pretty much all of my money is in Amazon. You know, I've basically gone all in. I have not many cash reserves, really. I can literally put it all into Amazon, especially for Q4. I put everything into Amazon for stock for Q4. So it's made me think, you know, next year, maybe would I limit myself a little bit to maybe like 100,000? Would I be happy with 100,000? Just having that as my kind of capital for Amazon and just being happy with what I can make from the 100,000? Or would it be less or more? I'm not sure really. So I think maybe next year, like I said, I'm not sure yet, but I might just say to myself, right, £100,000 is what I'm going to be happy with. Anything beyond that is just going to get withdrawn as profits, finally pay myself some profit. Yeah, and go from there. And then maybe I'll reevaluate it in 6 months and say, well, I'm more willing to put like £25,000 more into the business. Basically, it's just like, you know, I've been on this kind of roller coaster ride of literally constant growth since I started, which is a good thing. I started with around I started off with around 30k. Now I'm on like 100, and probably in my business I've got 150k maybe, something like that in 2.5 years. So not too bad really. It's hard to know exactly what you've got because obviously you've got stock on the way, stock, you know, in the prep center, you've got, you know, all sorts of stuff. So it's hard to know the exact figure. Obviously I've got an Amex bill. But yeah, so lots of train of thought now on what I was saying there. As we go on to the A1, I'll just concentrate on merging onto the A1 first, and hopefully I can remember exactly what I was talking about. Oh yeah, limiting my funds. So anyway, that's something I need to think about next year and go from there basically. Maybe just, it's essentially limiting my exposure. If I lost all the money in Amazon, I'd still be okay, let's put it like that. But I obviously would not be happy at all. In fact, I'd be devastated, but it wouldn't kill me, let's put it like that. So yeah, I wouldn't be jumping off a bridge or something like that. So, you know, but still, it's wise to perhaps limit your risk a little bit. So just something I've been thinking about, and I think wholesale is requiring a little bit more of a different mindset. The other thing as well is, you know, I'm looking to get into, so obviously you guys know I'm massive on Quigita. All the stuff pretty much I've been sourcing the past 3 months has been on Quigita, and if you guys are not on Quigita, you should definitely check that out. So it's basically what Quigita is. It's a wholesale platform where 400 plus wholesalers all over Europe list all their products on there for sale, so you can buy products at wholesale without having to actually reach out and call wholesalers, which is really nice actually. So you're able to basically break into wholesale without actually having to call up wholesalers, get rejected over and over and over. and all the pain in the butt that is doing wholesale. So if you want to sign up to Cogito, there's a link in the description to do that. And if you use the code FBA Mogul when you sign up, or if you've got an existing account, you can try and add it into your account promotions promo code section, FBA Mogul. You can get £120 off your first order, which is pretty sick. So obviously I've been ordering from Cogito, and the great thing about Cogito is you can pay with cards. So, you know, fantastic, which is rather unusual generally for wholesale. Wholesale normally wants bank transfer, they want cash. They will take a card, but they'll normally charge a percentage, like a 1% or whatever. But yeah, obviously Cogito is really nice that it takes card. However, I've been dipping a little bit into other wholesale items as well, and obviously that requires, you know, cash in the bank transfer. And I run my business very lean. Pretty much I've got it dialed into an art now where I have just enough money to pay off my Amex bill every month. Pretty much I had that 1 month where I overspent slightly. I can't remember how much I was short now, £5 or something like that, which for about 4 days I was short about, I can't remember, I think it was 5,000 anyway. So, but yeah, pretty much I've got it dialed in now where I have just enough money to pay off my Amex bill just in time, which is fine, you know. So not a bad way to run it really, as long as I have my sums done correctly. The problem is it doesn't leave me with much money in the bank to buy wholesale. So I've had quite a few wholesale offers recently where, you know, they've said, oh, we've got a pallet of this, pallet of that, you know, we've got 5 pallets of this, and I wasn't able to buy it because each pallet costs like £2,500. Yeah, I just, you know, didn't have the money. Well, I did have the money in the bank, but I need that for my Amex bill. So, because I've got that pretty much dialed in now. But yeah, so it was interesting anyway. Actually, guys, I made my biggest ever wholesale order on Cogito for £23,000, one order, which is pretty sick. Now, this one's definitely, it's a little bit iffy in that I may have over-ordered for Christmas, basically. The listing does sell really well, and it's a perfume, but I may have overbought, let's put it like that. So we'll see anyway. I bought a lot. Hopefully it goes okay. Hopefully the seller, who's in Spain, I think, sends it quickly because I need it for Christmas, and the prep center deals with it really quickly and gets into Amazon, and that way I should have a good time, you know, selling it. So it still sells pretty well in January, February, March. In fact, it sells 50 a month pretty much every month apart from the summer months, so like 3 months in summer. So it still sells relatively well. I'm always going to be making sales, but I've got a decent amount of them in there. So obviously with Christmas it goes up to 200, 300, 400, you know, per month. So it's pretty, which is nice. So yeah, that's was my biggest Cogito order, which was quite nice. They put out like an email saying, hey, if you order like £10,000 worth, you can get like 1% discount, and then if you do 15,000, it's £1.5, and if you do 20,000, you can get 2%. So I was like, oh, go on then, I'll do a £20,000 order. So I'm hoping to get my 2% back at some point as like credit, so which is nice. And one thing I said to Cogito as well is that normally it's very hard to make these huge orders, so better to have it made up of smaller orders than like giant orders like that. So to encourage people to order on the platform. But yeah, Cogito, a fantastic platform, to be honest. So, and actually, just before we carry on, I need to thank the sponsor for this video, which is Profit Protector Pro. Now, Profit Protector Pro, in my opinion, is the best repricer out there for any Amazon seller. It uses AI algorithms to basically maximize the profits of your items you're selling on Amazon. So it's the repricer that I use. I find it fantastic. It makes me plenty of money as long as I've got my prices set correctly, my min-maxes. And yeah, it really is a fantastic repricer. So link for that in the description if you want to check out Profit Protector Pro. Like I say, it's the repricer I use, the repricer I recommend. Yeah, so yeah, give it a go, guys. You can get I think it's a 7-day or 14-day free trial. So pretty awesome stuff. So I did a bit of a crazy thing the other day, and I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I was like driving past the Aston Martin garage, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna pop in and have a look at some of the Aston Martins, and you know, sometimes I like to do this just to kind of like motivate myself, because obviously I'm trying to get onto the path of becoming a millionaire or multi-millionaire, and sometimes I just love seeing, I don't know, just aspirational stuff like looking at Aston Martins and whatever. So, you know, I went in there, and actually they were very nice, even though I'm just wearing my usual scruffy like shorts and t-shirt, which I pretty much wear year round. Yeah, maybe, you know, with a nice watch it maybe helped a little bit, I'm not sure. But yeah, they were very nice, and I had a look around the Aston Martins. They're absolutely, you know, I'm actually not like a massive fan of Aston Martins, I wasn't anyway. Whenever I saw them online, obviously they look very nice on the outside, but I always thought the inside looked pretty plain and boring from pictures. But once I actually like looked around these cars, and they obviously let me sit in them, try them out. Because I said to the guy, I was like, I'd love to like sit and, you know, try one out and see what it's like. And I was like, I'm not sure I'll be able to like get out, you know, or even fit in, because obviously a lot of them are quite sporty, but very comfortable cars. It was really nice to sit inside them. You know, some of them are very cockpity, you know, because they're obviously race cars, or performance cars, I should say. But yeah, it was nice just to look around, and to be honest, some of them are actually quite affordable. Kind of crazy, I know. So I was obviously looking around all the new ones that cost like 200, 220, 230. That's not affordable. That's not what I consider affordable. Obviously very expensive, but beautiful cars. On the second floor of the one in Nottingham, they had all the used ones. And yeah, there was like a very nice Aston Martin DB11 there in red, which wouldn't be my sort of colour of choice, but it was still very nice. It only had like, I guess, 8,000 or 10,000 miles on the clock from 2020. It was 86,000, which I thought, to be honest, was quite like, obviously let's be real here, £86,000 is a ridiculous amount of money for a car, but for an Aston Martin from a dealership, you know, used but barely used, I thought that was pretty good value, to be fair. If I'm crazy, tell me in the comments. You know, tell me how crazy I am. But yeah, it's like all considering. So you know, you got the ones that cost 230 on the ground floor, and then 86 for like a 4-year-old, coming on 5-year-old now model. Yeah, I guess sounds bad when you say 5-year-old actually. Barely been driven. But yeah, I don't know, I was like, oh, you know what, I could definitely see myself at some point being able to afford like an £86,000 Aston Martin. Yeah, I mean, technically in theory I could afford to buy one now, but it'd be very silly of me to do that. But yeah, you know, if I wanted, I could do that. So, you know, obviously the thing you've always got to consider, and the thing I always think about as well, and I guess we're getting on more into business here as well, is, you know, let's say I spend 86,000, let's just round up to £100,000. Let's say you find out a 2021 model. In fact, they had a few nice ones there for around 100, 115. Like, again, barely used, slightly newer. And you know, let's say you're taking £100,000 to put into a car. I mean, that's £100,000 that you're not making money on. It's the whole like opportunity cost thing. You know, if you take £100,000 put into a car, what is essentially a depreciating asset. So you know, so that £100,000 now costing you money every single day. Or year, you know, that car is probably going to depreciate by £10,000 a year maybe. So after year one, your £100,000 is now worth £90,000. I'm not even including the fact you've had to pay for insurance and all that kind of stuff. But if you put £100,000 obviously into Amazon, we'd like to hopefully, you know, you'd be at least £130,000, if not 140, 50, I don't know, yeah, you know. Let's just say you can spin it up through once at 30% ROI and you make till it's 130, or just stick it in the bank and get, say, what can you get now? 4%, 4.5% interest. So you know, there you'd be getting £4,500. So it's like you take your £100,000. One option ends you up in it. This is just 1 year, by the way. Ends you up with £90,000, and the other option ends you up with potentially £130,000. Or if you take the very risk-free path, ends up with let's just call it £105,000. So you know, it's all these opportunity costs we need to think about, and but that's how like wealth is like destroyed or created. So when you buy a £100,000 car, you need a decent amount of capital in the bank. You know, you need to be, you know, have £1 million really net worth, if not more, and not care too much about having that £100,000 into a car. So for me right now, probably not going to be buying an Aston Martin. I have my little Ford C-Max here. It's got the leather seats, which is quite nice. You know, this car is worth about, I don't know, £5,000 or £6,000 now. It's a 2016 model. It does me fine, really. It's due like a service. I think it's going to cost me a fortune though. So that's the point where I kind of sell my cars. I'm like, I think they quoted me like £3,000 to do the service on it. It needs a bunch of stuff replacing on it. That's the point where I'm like, oh, maybe it's not you know, worth doing it at that point. But yeah, cars are money saps, really. However, it's you know, you've got to live as well. So, you know, I'm all for trying to be frugal, being sensible with your money, but you can obviously everything can be done at different extremes. Some people are spendthrifts and can't even save £1 and live in debt and paycheck to paycheck constantly because of poor choices. Not everyone, but You know, some people have a good sort of middle ground where they spend and save, and other people are just all frugal for their entire lives, don't spend a penny, and then, you know, essentially die multi-millionaires, never actually enjoying that money. Everyone's obviously different, so it's trying to find that balance, I suppose. And I guess the argument is you could do this, say this with anything in life, really. It's a balance, isn't it, really, of the good and the bad. But yeah, so for me, yeah, I love doing this. It reminded me of like when I went to Mallorca. I was wandering around the harbour every evening, looking at those multi-million pound yachts. Obviously that's a little bit beyond an Aston Martin, but I love to just see these aspirational things, because guys, I've got no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be a millionaire. I've got no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be a multi-millionaire, hopefully anyway, so maybe a bit more doubt on that one, but definitely going to be a millionaire through hard work and, you know, doing my business. And it's just nice to see, you know what, it'd be nice to walk in one day and go, hey, yeah, I'll take that Aston Martin, here's the cash. I'll walk in, when I go and buy one, and again, I know I'm going to buy one. I don't know if it'll be an Aston Martin, it might be a Ferrari, it might be a Lamborghini, it might be an Audi R8. I do love Audi R8s. I know I'm going to buy one of these at some point, hopefully in the next few years, because everything's transitioning over to hybrids and electrics, and hey, I'm all for it. I like electric cars, I've driven electric cars, you know, hybrids are fine as well, but if I'm buying a performance car, I really want it to be petrol. But everything's moving over to, even the new Porsches now are hybrids. So, you know, I've not actually driven one, so I don't know. Yeah, Porsche's another car I consider as well, 911. But yeah, I want to go in and buy one, and I'm going to go in and dress so scruffily, it's going to be ridiculous. I'm going to look like a homeless person. See how they treat me. But yeah, I don't know anyway. But yeah, I've got no doubt in my mind that's going to happen. So as long as I continue to work hard, continue on the path of business, I've got no doubt in my mind. Now, in terms of working hard, I've definitely been taking it a little bit easier though recently. So I'd say probably about 3-4 months ago, I was working for about a 3-month period when, you know, my Discord community, FBA Moguls, and you guys are not in, you know, want to join my Discord community, link in the description for that. It's a free community for all Amazon sellers or people who want to be Amazon sellers. When that was kind of blowing up and my YouTube was blowing up, I was working like 12, 14 hour days, and I was actually could feel myself working myself into an early grave. There's so much opportunity everywhere that I was just like all over the place. I was just like, I was trying to squeeze every minute out of the day working. You know, I didn't even want to go shopping because I was like, that's an hour out of my time that I could be working. However, I've now, again, talking about balance, managed to kind of bring a balance into my life. Now that balance has gone a little bit more towards the leisure side, so I need to bring that back a little bit into the middle. Essentially what I'm just trying to do now is, rather than working crazy hours, is just try and work a 9 to 5. you know, I worked very hard at the beginning on my FBA business and my YouTube and stuff like that, and now I'm just trying to maybe bring some balance in, and like I say, work 9 to 5, try not to work weekends too much, although I'd worked yesterday. I don't necessarily consider this work, by the way. I mean, it is work, but I really enjoy talking and doing these vlogs when I'm driving. Hey, I'm driving anyway, so, you know, it's a good thing, really. So, and one day you will join me when I'm in my Aston Martin or my Porsche or my Lamborghini, although I'm not sure what the acoustics are going to be like for that. So I'll have to test that out. I'll be like, hey, can I test drive this? And do you mind if I just stick up a camera there? I think I'm really weird. Yeah, that'll obviously be the kind of important factor, really. Because I get some very nice comments from people saying that they love these videos, and obviously that I really appreciate those lovely comments. Really encourages me to, you know, work harder and do more of these kind of things, and know that people actually enjoy listening to these things of me rambling on about business and things like that. So I really do appreciate those kind comments when they come through. They're really nice, and I'm glad that I can entertain you guys while you're prepping or commuting or doing whatever you're doing, really. So yeah, so that'll be a fun time, really. And maybe I'll put some pictures up, by the way, so of the Aston Martin. So I took some nice pictures in there as well, again, just for myself and kind of like my friends. I did the whole classic watch one with the badge of the car, with the watch, because Aston Martins and Breitlings both have wings as the logo. So I kind of did that. I'll get my my editor to put those pictures up for you so you can see. But yeah, I think, yeah, what were we talking about? Balance and talking about balance and stuff. So, you know, just, yeah, it's important, I think, to have that balance. So, however, I was speaking to a guy yesterday. I won't mention names actually, but yeah, he was saying, oh, you know, I really love your videos. I was like, I really appreciate that, mate. I've spoken to this guy a few times. We've done a live call as well. The guy's running like 4 businesses. He's got a kid on the way. He does kickboxing and gym like 4 times a week. And I'm thinking to myself, bloody hell, Simon, you're lazy as hell compared to this guy. So maybe I need to up my effort a little bit, really. I don't know. So, because definitely, yeah, not working that hard. So yeah, definitely need to up my effort a little bit, maybe. Definitely get down to the gym a bit more. So, although definitely lost some weight. I don't know if it shows in the videos. So recently I'm down about, say, 15 pounds or so, which is pretty good. So yeah, can't be, you know, not too bad, and slowly losing the weight, getting back in shape. Hopefully that allows me to work harder as well, because obviously being massively overweight doesn't help your productivity necessarily, because you get, I guess, tired more often, don't have the endurance, I suppose, to work super hard all the time. It's yeah, it's been good anyway. So I've been taking I just talk about all sorts of stuff, I guess, talk about my life and things like that, I suppose. I've been taking the Ozempic stuff, what's it called, Mogul. It's basically like Wegovy. It's like this weight loss drug. It's really amazing, to be honest. It works so well for me. So it just basically totally suppressed my appetite, which is fantastic. So, you know, I've always had like a massive appetite, and it's just, yeah, it just totally kills my appetite, which is fantastic. So I just eat like at regular times now. I know many of you were saying, oh, just don't eat, but, you know, I guess my brain's wired differently, you know, because I'm just constantly hungry, or, you know, always want to be grazing on food. But this definitely, yeah, has been very good for me, basically. Taking this Millionaire, I think it's called, so it's been game-changing, to be honest, for me. But yeah, what else has been going on, guys? Just excited. My younger brother is, you know, I told you guys before, he's quit his job. He now runs the Cogita price drop server. So if you want to do Cogita and you want the price drops, there's that server there, £50 a month right now. I think he's going to put the price up to 100 at some point, because people are literally printing money in that server right now. But, you know, he's trying to figure out what direction he wants to go in his business. You know, I've tried encouraging him. He's done a bit of Amazon FBA. He actually made some okay money from it. Like last month, you know, he was like, oh, I've not done very well. And then at the end of it, he looked, he's like made £900 profit. I was like, oh, that's actually not bad for like the 3rd month into Amazon. And considering he's barely bought any stock, really, he'd been on like a big stock purchasing break, but he just hates the returns. The returns have been a real killer for him. And I totally get it. They are an absolute nightmare, the returns. So, you know, he had some really bad returns as well, some really bad ones, quite a few, but nasty ones as well, I guess. So that really put him off. I'm not sure if he's going to carry on doing FBA. He likes the profit you can make from it, but he just doesn't like the returns. Anyway, it is what it is. Part of the game, I suppose, and it does help like on what you're buying. I've noticed certain products get a lot of returns. And one of the ones he got a lot of returns on was these like routers, you know, like wireless routers and wireless hubs and stuff like that. They always get crazy returns. Yeah, so I tend to avoid them generally. Yeah, so you kind of learn those things. There's certain things that I definitely avoid, like hair dryers, hair straighteners, irons. I think what else really? Yeah, routers, things like that. You just toothbrushes, unless I can make big profits on them. Beard trimmers is another one as well. I avoid, because people use them. They're like, oh, I don't like it. Then they return it, and it's got hairs all over it, and I'm like, well, in the bin you go. What am I going to do with this? Yeah, so there's certain things you learn that are not good and need, you know, have a lot of returns. You need to be making a lot of profit on them to be selling them, in my opinion. That's part of the learning process anyway. So he's been figuring out what he wants to try and do. He's seen the success that I'm having on YouTube and how it's been going, and he's potentially thinking of getting into YouTube. And I encourage all of you out there, and I was saying to this guy yesterday who was speaking to me, he was saying, you know, he's got 4 businesses, one of them is property development. You know, he just bought a couple of properties to refurbish, and then I assume they're going to resell them. And I was like, mate, that'd be I'd be super interested in seeing that process, because it's something I've considered myself. I'd love to see how that works, how the purchasing works, how the whole refurbishing planning thing goes, and how it ends up costing and all that kind of stuff. I'd be all over that. I'd be loving it. If you made that a series, like, hey, I bought this house, here's me buying it, and then here's me developing it. You know, every week they do an update video saying, hey, we've done the kitchen, the bathroom, here's the progress, here's what it cost, blah 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 blah, you know, all this stuff, and then here we sold it at the end, and here's our profit at the end of it. Man, I'd watch that like in a heartbeat. One thing you need to realize is that people, just like you watching me now, people enjoy listening to other people's lives and businesses and stuff, especially, if you're watching this, you're probably, or hopefully anyway, someone who enjoys business or wants to get into business and maybe using this as entertainment or aspirational to basically, you want to get to where I am, or and obviously I'm trying to get to places where other people are. But it's good to sort of, surround yourself with people that are successful. And I consider myself successful, so welcome, and you are successful as well, I hope. We've just got all different levels, degrees of success. Although, again, as I say as well, it's not always good to compare yourself to others. At the end of the day, you should be comparing yourself to yourself. You should set your own goals and be able to, what am I trying to say here? Like, it's good to look at other people and go, use it as aspiration. So if you see me making X amount of money, awesome, use it as aspiration, I love it. Don't be jealous, don't be, bitter or anything like that. I know a lot of you guys aren't, so it's fine. But yeah, just use it as aspiration. And I look at people as well who make more money than me, and I'm like, I use it as aspiration. I try not to be jealous, try not to be bitter. It's tough sometimes. Not really, but I say I wish I was making that much money a month or whatever. But I'm not actually that bitter, really. But yeah, at the end of the day, you've just got to basically set your own goals and measure your success against yourself. That's the only person you're competing with. You're only competing with yourself and the goals that you set. So yeah, just a bit of wisdom there, I suppose. Yeah, for those of you that may be struggling a little bit, I think it comes with age, wisdom, I suppose, this kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, so I'd recommend you guys, if you're interested, obviously not everyone's interested in doing this kind of thing, not everyone's interested in doing YouTube and social media, it's fine, it's not for everyone, but if it's something you are interested in thinking of doing, get going, guys. It takes ages to build up, it takes ages to build a following and an audience and to actually make any money out of it. So the sooner you start, the better. And just document what you're doing. Even if you're doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, you have a different personality and a different approach and a different experience to me. And there'll be people that would like to see that because you had a different spin on it. Our results could be the exact same. We could have the exact same story, the exact same success, but the way that I tell it and the way that you tell it is totally different. And some people resonate with the way you say it, and some people resonate with the way that I say it. So I think social media is just massive. I mean, this is something I've come to realize as well, is that it's so underrated, it's unbelievable. It's only going to get bigger and grow bigger. And actually we're seeing a trend now where a lot of these celebrities and rich people, business owners and celebrity whatever, are now thinking more about their personal brand more than ever and doing, social media and things like that, because personal brand is just going to become more and more popular and more important, and how you can monetize personal brand. If that's your goal, you don't have to be monetizing it, you can just do it for the fun of it, to help people or whatever. So me, it's a mix of both. I love helping people, but I'm looking to monetize this as well. So I'm perfectly honest, I'm a businessman. So but yeah, I'm not like a ruthless businessman though. Trust me, I'd be so much richer if I was a ruthless businessman. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just anyway, going back to the whole story, I'd love to see that series. So if you're listening, you know who you are. I'd love to see it. If you just do once a week, you just film what you're doing, and then you can narrate over it. But as long as you've got that footage, then you can always do the footage. You can narrate over it afterwards. And you can get an editor. You can make a series, release it once a week. That'll be very interesting, and I'll obviously help promote it as well. And I'd love to see that kind of thing as well. That kind of story. It could be. It might end up being you actually end up making more money at the social media of it than you do the actual property. Just that's how big this can get. I'm not sure. I mean, for me, social media's just been enormous this year, and it's gone from strength to strength. It's just been insane, really. I talk about all my figures for Amazon FBA, no problem talking about that. The social media side's a little bit more tricky. I mean, I could do something I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about doing a whole other channel just about building up social media and things like that. I know they're dime a dozen, but again, I can talk about it from my experience, and I've talked about this before anyway. But yeah, anyway, even if it's just like, I've got this friend Lewis, all he doesn't do videos, he just tweets. He just does a tweet maybe every couple of days, talking about a lesson he's learned in Amazon FBA, his success, his progress. If something's gone wrong, like with Amazon, maybe he'll put a post out about that. People just like to read this kind of things. Twitter is the place to go if you just want to put out some content, like text content. Anyway, I recommend people do it. It's like I say, you don't have to get on video. You can, just do the Twitter thing, Instagram posts if you wanted, things like that. So TikTok, that's video. But you know what I mean anyway. You can do shorts and things like that. So there's multiple ways that people consume all sorts of different kinds of content. Yeah, it's interesting, and it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy how big it is. And I mean, even part of me doesn't even probably realise how big this can get. But yeah, I will do a video where I reveal how much I've made from social media potentially in the future. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments if it is. We can talk about, and I might do like an end of year sort of thing. Because again, another channel I want to make is just around business as well. Just, so I've got this whole social media thing. I've got the Amazon FBA channel. I want to do just like a general business, because I read a lot of business books. I listen to a lot of business audio books, a lot of business podcasts, things like that. I'm always watching YouTube videos around business. So I built up a decent amount of knowledge around business essentially. And so, I don't know, something I've considered as well is doing that. But again, you don't want to stretch yourself too thin. One of the things that they say is focus is key, follow one course until success. So it means focusing on one thing really at a time, rather than trying to do multiple things. But anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting, and there's opportunity all over the place. It's just how, you don't want to stretch yourself too thin, I guess. Exciting times, guys. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up. I'm getting close to actually going out for a meal today for lunch, Sunday roast or Sunday lunch. Should be very nice. Need to decide if I'm going to have the beef or the chicken. Should be awesome. Going out for it's a birthday sort of lunch for my older brother's girlfriend, and yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. So looking forward to that. Thanks guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Maybe on the way home I might record my first sort of business vlog, maybe, that if I do another channel. I'm not sure yet, but one thing is it gets dark, and it gets dark so early these days that yeah, it's I don't know, I'll be sat in the dark just talking. Anyway, thanks guys, I really do appreciate it. Please leave me a comment if you enjoyed this video. If you can leave me a subscribe and like and all that kind of stuff, that obviously helps as well. If you want to get into Amazon FBA, you've got my community link for that in the description, and you can come in there, you can say hello to me, you can book a one-on-one call with me for free, onboarding call, and yeah, it'd be awesome to see you guys in there. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next one.